going to look for those rock bands, those alternative bands, those funk bands, those folk bands that aren't necessarily getting the attention is, one of our goals.
Nick, how's it going?
It's going good. Getting ready to head over to Oddfellows in the Short North for a Dirty Work Entertainment event, and having a great night.
Nice. So tell me, what is Dirty Work Entertainment?
So Dirty Work Entertainment is an event and entertainment agency that I started here in Columbus after my time working in nonprofits and doing sort of event management, more concentrated downtown Columbus. Dirty Work specializes in sort of like alternative events and entertainers, helping them get a platform to perform in untraditional spaces. So not just at venues, but at city festivals, street festivals, at random bars, at skate parks, at all sorts of different things. So it's just sort of like bridging the gap between different areas that don't normally experience music events, and just sort of connecting them to up and coming local, regional artists. But we also work with some more like national, international touring artists for our events and festivals. And we also manage bands and artists that are local to Columbus and sort of Cleveland, Cincinnati areas.
Yeah.
So that's Dirty Work. We'll do the dirty work to sort of bring these events to life and help these artists reach the next level of success with their music.
Nice.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work doing the dirty work. But it's when there's not an event happening, it's a lot of like admin stuff and just filling out paperwork, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and then the event day comes and it's all hands on deck and everyone's running around frantically just to make sure that everything goes smoothly. Some events are smaller than others, like what we're doing tonight at Oddfellows, which is our Wicked Wednesday event. We do it about every other Wednesday at Oddfellows. We have musicians that are playing our High Spirits Festival in October come, and they do acoustic sets. Yeah. We have some local vendors, and then we do karaoke towards the end of the night, and that's a little bit fun. You get to sing with some of the bands that are going to be performing, and people can interact with them and sort of get to know them a little bit more, and buy tickets to the event.
Yeah, that's really cool because it sounds like a way to get people engaged, in a once-a-year festival,
right,
multiple times throughout the year. Kind of build the excitement.
Yeah. So building the family, or the cult, as we have been calling it, of people from Columbus and around that sort of like have High Spirits on their radar, have our events on their radar. And just giving them something to do on a random Wednesday is, I think a pretty fun thing.
Nice.
So
I think it's pretty interesting. I've been having a lot of conversation with folks about this sort of stuff as someone who also does, larger scale events. There's a lot of people, especially in the music world, who, they just want to perform. They're the artist. They want to be on stage. They want to be the star of the show.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to be the producer, the events person, the person,
right,
like you said, crossing the T's and dotting the I's.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think Columbus maybe lacks across music, comedy, the arts, different forms of entertainment, is that like infrastructure kind of running in the background.
I 100% agree. About a year and a half ago, when we started brainstorming the idea for Dirty Work, a lot of it was birthed because of our sort of interactions with the artists that we were booking for events, and them not having stage plots or promo photos or press kits, them not really having what they needed to go to the next step. They just wanted to play the show. So they needed someone to be in their corner advocating for them and sort of showing them someone to bridge the gap between the festival organizer and the artist.
Yeah, almost like a manager.
Yes, manager, agent. I've been called many things.
What do you prefer? Manager, agent?
Manager is probably better.
Man of many hats.
Man of many hats, yeah. So, a lot of people just kind of go into things like, oh, we're going to do this show and it's easy. I was just working with some people in LA last week who got booked for a Pride event, and the organizers did not confirm and announce them without their knowledge. So there's these like disconnects that happen, and having someone to sort of like look over those things is hugely beneficial from the artist standpoint and the event producers and the promoter side.
Right.
And some of those things get lost in translation, I feel. So, it's a learning process, and you kind of just got to go with the flow and just be able to adapt to, okay, this person's saying this thing and someone else is saying this, and okay, you guys are saying the same thing, but you're coming at it from a creative artistic standpoint, and you're coming from it from a financial, operational, business, standpoint. So how do we speak the same language?
Nice. How would you say, today the scene currently exists for the styles of music that you're kind of promoting? Is it something that is healthy, or like we have some bands that are flying under the radar, or something that you want to see grow for the years to come, or all of the above?
Yeah. So one of the things that sort of got us on this path was going to so many local shows here. There's so much local music every single day of the week here with phenomenal artists, and not just the bands and entertainers that you see commonly booked for, some of the bigger festivals that happen. They tend to book the same bands.
Sure.
And I would call those more like your gigging city bands. Mm-hmm. They're not necessarily bands that want to go on tour.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily want to be putting out, fully produced records or music videos and things like that. They just want to play the festivals, play the festival circuit, and then call it quits. So noticing that there were so many great bands in Columbus that people just didn't really know about because those artists didn't know how to get those spots on those festivals. They didn't know how to book those shows.
Right.
Some of the talent buyers in the city that sort of like buy talent for, 5 or 10 different venues tend to either get people from out of town to come in that are on tour, which again, that's going to be a moneymaker, but also, they don't necessarily have the infrastructure or the knowledge to go out and seek those local bands that are hustling, that are, running around playing, at dirty dungarees or just randomly playing in parking lots and stuff like that. So going to look for those rock bands, those alternative bands, those funk bands, those folk bands that aren't necessarily getting the attention is, one of our goals, and just boosting them up. And in that way, Columbus is sort of like lacking in giving a platform to local artists. Yeah. So I think, Columbus could do a lot more. Book different entertainers, provide more opportunity for people to perform. And also not shy away from genres that aren't super mainstream, or at least give them a showcase that can showcase, hey, this is the rock of Columbus, this is the metal of Columbus, or the punk or the rap, and a lot of these artists will end up doing things on their own. Not to like plug someone, but a friend of mine, Joe Starworld, is a rapper, and he coordinates with rappers all over the city. Just did an event on Sunday. And like by Franklin Park called the Star World Expo, which is basically just a free showcase of different rappers in the city. So more things like that, need to happen. More DIY, more grassroots thing, and a lot of that, those types of things, the artist is going to put on themselves. They're going to do that work to like give themselves a platform. So, but there's more as a city that we could do to sort of help artists.
I think it's on the city's radar. I don't know if you saw the results of the music study that was just commissioned. The Music Commission. Yeah. And it's it's really, almost stating the obvious, but it's like, there needs to be more funding, there needs to be more opportunities, these boxes need to be checked to make sure that this works. But it's interesting to see like what, where that's going to go in the near future. It's still kind of in the planning phases. But I'm excited.
I'm very excited. I mean, I moved here and now I absolutely love Columbus. So I want to see us have a thriving, healthy, and sonically diverse music landscape. So, and that's our goal. After High Spirits in October, we are going to start doing more music showcases at different venues. So a country night, or a funk night, a folk night, pop night. So we're going to start looking into doing those types of events and doing it ourselves. Since we are a for-profit business, we don't necessarily always have the funding available from grants or city funding to be able to do these things. So a lot of it's just out of pocket and through ticket sales or what have you. But I hope that we can sort of do it ourselves.
Sure,
I guess. And that's sort of like our motto, DIY. It's a very punk attitude to have. So.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's no like shortages of ideas and dreams and goals and stuff. And some of it's just like, what can we do this year? What can we do next year? What can we do 5 years out? And so, make sure you're growing sustainably.
Yeah, and we may have to wait until, like I said, after October. Doing High Spirits again has been a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
So yes, High Spirits is happening again this year. Saturday, October 18th in the Warehouse District. So we have about 30, I think 40 bands that are performing.
Nice.
Last year we had 3 stages. This year we're going to have 4 stages. One of those stages is going to include comedy shows, a circus troupe, burlesque, drag performances. We have about, I would say, maybe 7 to 10 touring bands coming from LA, Washington. We have people coming in from New York, Kentucky. Did I say Washington? Washington State.
Nice.
So we have a lot of great bands that are coming in. So it'll be, for some of them, it'll be their first time playing in Columbus.
Yeah.
For others, like Beauty School Dropout, who they're our headliners.
Yeah.
They've been here several times, and it's cool with them. So I met them living in Los Angeles, and when I first saw them here, they played at the Basement, and then when I came back, they played at A&R Bar. And then when I came back, they were at Newport. So every year they come back, they just keep getting a bigger venue and a bigger venue, and they are super excited to be at High Spirits. I saw them at Warped Tour 2 weeks ago, and they're just like super excited to headline. It's their first time headlining. We still have some surprises that we have not announced, so that's exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was going to just say, last year was really cool for kind of the epicenter of the event, like right at Gay and High, right in the middle of things, having the skateboard, ramps and stuff like right out in the middle of High Street. But also it sounds cool that like it's in the Warehouse District this year. It's a little more secluded. You could probably be a little bit louder and
yes.
a little more experimental with some things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
While still being like central downtown.
Right. So you can still, go over to Wolf's Ridge or Jackie O's if you have the appropriate ticket.
Yes.
But so we can be a little bit louder. There's definitely more space.
Yes.
So we can put a 4th stage. We're also going to be using some of the buildings down there, some of the venues down there as well, to have a VIP lounge, to do a artist gallery as well, and do some other shows inside. So it's exciting. It's a huge undertaking, like I said, but I'm very excited.
Nice. Well, I feel like we should end happy hour so you can get back to work and make this a great event.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, cheers. Thanks for
Cheers to
catching us up on it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Anytime.